And today we have with us Larry Metz, the founder, owner, president of Meerkat Roofing, and contributing author of the Home Seller's Bible for homeowners, agents, and investors.
Good morning.
Larry, thanks for being here, brother.
Pleased to be here, Mark.
I appreciate you being here. We've been looking forward to this for a while and finally got the good gear.
Awesome. Yeah, no, the mics are working wonderfully. So
They're pretty cool. And they got some look cool factor to them too.
And the headphones are nice too.
Yeah, not too bad. A vintage thing. So thanks again for being here. Super appreciate it. And thank you so much for being. You were the first one that said yes to jumping in on the project for the Home Seller's Bible. So what had you saying? Yeah, I'll be a part of that. Was it my slick sales pitch?
Well,
which
yeah,
I did not use.
It was your shining personality, award-winning personality. No, well, we've been meeting for quite some time now, and when you presented the opportunity to be a part of that, it was such a no-brainer, Mark. I mean, to be able to be a part of this book was wonderful, fantastic. It was a great opportunity, so I couldn't say no. I really couldn't. So, and it's been fun. It's been a good ride so far.
So how do you see yourself deploying the book in your business? How do you see using it as a gift, or what were you thinking?
I think the biggest tool or biggest way I could use a book as a tool would be to gift it to potential clients. We do a lot of estimates, and if we were to give a book away with an estimate, then you're giving somebody a great gift, and that's a good resource for them to have on their kitchen table if they need to know some advice on a multitude of different things. So
on the earlier copies, the proofs that I emailed everybody, did you ever get into the book at all?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Found some really fascinating subjects that I didn't know were going to be in there. One that I have some interest in is what do you call that? The septic systems for acreages and those type of things. There's some really neat points that are touched on in those chapters. So
it's been kind of neat. I've been a realtor since 2004. Is when I first got my license.
Right.
And what I learned from everybody else putting it together, because of course anything that was submitted, I had to read through again and again and again and edit and edit and edit and edit before it actually went to the editor.
Right.
But even as a realtor, there was so much that I didn't know, because of all the different specialties.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many topics. No one person can know everything about everything. So it's great when you have that expertise from many different vendors, many different sources. So then you can get a really good all-around picture of what you want to look for when you're buying a home.
Yeah, and for a lot of these subjects, like the idea of the Home Seller's Bible is kind of all-encompassing, and there's so many of us that are related in our trades or our professions.
Right. Interconnected, if you would.
And the realtor seems to be the sort of the center of that hub.
Okay.
Are there any other books, because you're the roofing guy, are there any other books on roofing or pamphlets? Like what else is out there for literature on roofing for homeowners on what they need to know?
I'm sure there's some items out there on the market that one could buy. I've never kind of came across them in my travels. Some of the associations will put out good roofing practices and what have you. All of those are good tools as well. But I mean, there's 100 ways to do the same job. So a lot of it boils down into what is code, Alberta Building Code, what is good practice, and a lot of it boils down into opinion. So it's my opinion that this way is better. So so much on the roof can be boiled down into, well, I find this the best way, but it doesn't mean it's the only way. So there are multiple ways of doing the same install.
How are you finding the labor market right now to get roofers I mean, I know it's been a tight couple of years, but because I'm guessing that the younger people are less and less likely to do a tough, laborious job like roofing.
Absolutely.
So it's tougher to get the young people into that.
It is. Every year it's becoming harder and harder to get, I guess, buy-in from younger ones that maybe don't want to work a physical job or a laborious job. But it's, for the guy that is bent that way, it's a wonderful way to earn a living. So
What can a guy make as a roofer? Like, what's the range? I know it's piecework probably. So.
it is piecework. Most companies will put their guys as subcontractors. I think you cut your production probably more than half when you make a roofer an employee. So
Yeah.
I would say the high 90% of the companies out there don't have employees as roofers, but have sub trades, because then it's based on that piecework.
And you measure it to be 50%. So if somebody's a jobber, they will be half as productive as somebody that's a contractor.
If not more, Mark, is my feelings. I mean, that's
Wow.
I don't have, that's not scientific, but
Well,
that's
I'm not shocked by it. I was a carpenter for years before I was a realtor, as an outside finisher, and it was all piecework.
right.
And so every time we'd go out, we'd be, okay, how do we do this smarter, more efficient, smarter,
Right.
more efficient, smarter, more efficient, which included quality control. Because if you go back twice, well, now you're making nothing.
Exactly.
And so we got it down to a system, whether we're doing skirts and stairs or window battens or whatever it was, building verandas. And we'd get it down so that people were like, they couldn't believe it, because we were doubling and tripling the production of the other. They were also on piecework,
Right.
but for whatever reason, they just plod along and they don't hustle. But we were doing double and triple anybody else.
For sure.
So we would have been a dream for you if we were roofers.
Absolutely. and those guys do well. I mean, career roofers that do it for a living.
Yeah.
And they're very focused, and they do exceptionally well. I mean, for a guy with a good crew and who's seasoned, it's not out of the realm of possibilities to make $100K plus a year. So
There's not a lot of DIY roofers out there. I mean, I've seen it done, but I think it's one of those jobs where people are like, yeah, I think I'm going to get somebody that actually, I'm not going to attempt this.
right.
But have you run into, have you had to be the cleanup crew for DIY jobs?
Absolutely happens all the time. And also just fly-by-nights. We're always cleaning up the mess from the guy that was
Chuck with the truck.
Chuck with a truck that's $1,500 less, and as a homeowner, you're comparing, going, how can this be? Like $1,500 is a huge chunk of change. I have to go with the cheaper guy. The problem is, when you do go with the cheaper guy, a lot of times stuff goes south, and then that gentleman is phoning us back to say, can you fix our roof? Because my cheap guy is no longer around, can't be found to come back, do the repairs.
Yeah.
And we need somebody to clean up our mess.
It's like that with every damn trade.
Yeah, yeah.
A good friend of mine, pretty fancy house. It's roughly $1 million house. And he had about $40,000 worth of stonework done around
Okay.
by Chuck with a truck. Then the rocks start falling off because there's just a couple of simple things that they should have did and didn't do. And when the rocks started falling off his damned house, Chuck with the truck was back to Saskatchewan somewhere and nowhere to be found, and sure wasn't coming back.
Right. Yeah, no, it's an issue for a lot of construction trades.
When did you open the doors with Meerkat?
Meerkat was 1997, and
Oh, wow.
previous to that, I was in a 3-way partnership. So Meerkat's been around, 21 years. So
A while.
A while.
You're starting to get the hang of it.
yeah, I'm now the old guy in the industry.
How'd you fall into it?
I did in my early 20s. I did so many dead end jobs, and none of them really stuck. So
Yeah.
I answered the ad in the paper for Roofer's Helper, and I can remember going out, and he the boss said, "Okay, we need those bundles up there, and they're going up there on your back." So,
Oh, okay.
so
I guess I could do that.
yeah, as a scrawny little kid, I could barely lift one of the bundles up, never mind get him up the ladder. But after, after struggling to get it up the ladder, it became easier and easier every day. So
Yeah.
I loved the physical challenge. It was, it was something I could really sink my teeth into and do well at. So
I think it takes about 2 or 3 months for your body to really get used to it. But if you take a month off, you're right back to zero.
I don't even think a month, a week
Oh
off.
God. Yeah. When I was a carpenter, it was decks and verandas was a lot of it, and fencing. And so you're at the shop at 5:30 in the morning, loading your trailer
Right.
with all the lumber. You're being a lumber monkey.
Yeah.
And God, I couldn't do it today to save my soul. If I was trying to hump that lumber now, it would break me in half.
Yeah, I think if I was putting shingles on for a living, I'd probably be starving.
I did an off job. I had been out of carpentry for years, and one of my clients actually said, "Hey, you used to build decks. Want to build a deck?" I thought, "Yeah, I kind of miss it. For fun, sure, I'll do a deck.
Yeah.
I'll be done this in a day and a half, because that's what it used to take me for a deck of that size." Well, 5 days later, I'm still at it.
Putting in the last screw, hey?
Yeah, just I was like, oh, when you're doing it all day, every day, it's a pretty big difference
Absolutely.
between, even when you know what you're doing. I still know what I'm doing. I mean, decks are not difficult if you have the right plan. You can still screw up a deck.
Oh, for
as
sure.
simple as they are. Yeah, it's easy to screw them up just using the wrong process or not knowing some of the tricks. But when I was doing it every day, I was 4 times faster than if I was just to build one today.
Yeah, a lot of it boils down into how you produce that and the little, like you say, the little tricks of the trade and how to do it quick and good, right?
Yeah, how to maintain that balance of quality as well.
Absolutely, Mark.
What'd you do before roofing?
Oh, my goodness.
You said a bunch of little odd jobs.
I worked in warehouses. What else? Menswear for a while. What was some of my other jobs? I hauled
Where were you doing menswear?
Wokel.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the Wokel?
Hey, who just went bankrupt? Was it Sears?
Yes, Sears.
Because when we were kids, because we're about the same age, give or take, when we were kids, it was Woolworths,
Yeah.
Woolco, and then they went under. And then now Sears is going under. I'm sure the Bay can't be far behind.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, who the hell shops at the Bay?
Right.
It's all overpriced stuff every time you go.
Zellers was another one.
Zellers.
As a kid, right?
Yeah, that was a big one. What was the other one?
Kmart.
Kmart, Zellers. There was another one too. That was very Zellers-ish.
Okay, Sands maybe.
Sand store. I worked at a sand store.
Did you?
I put boxes on shelves at a sand store. It's eluding me. There was another one though.
Oh, I can't think of the other. But I mean, yeah, all those are kind of gone.
Some of
away.
them figure out the formula and they're around forever.
Yeah.
And other ones just don't.
Exactly. And there's not too many around anymore.
No, it's a dying thing, and internet's taken over.
Hmm.
I guess that's one thing about your biz. They're never going to be able to get internet roofers.
Right.
I mean,
right.
you physically have to be there and do it.
Yeah. Well, and getting back to your point earlier, is it tough to find guys? Absolutely. And how do you find guys? How do you keep guys? And I guess it's kind of the old golden rule. You make your company as appealing for them to be with you and to stay with you. So, you do as many things to make it easier for the guys to come in, get a job, and do that job and make money. Is the bottom line. So we try to do that. We work hard to make sure that it's a very user-friendly place for our crews, that they want to come in, that they want to see us, that they want to, come in and get greeted and be treated well. So I think that's really going to be the art of companies like mine in the future, is just, is it a place that attracts good people?
Well, quality always is the spin-off of that. Like if you got happy subcontractors, they're going to do a better job.
Absolutely.
Period.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that internal drive for quality is just not in all of us.
No.
And if they're pissed at the person that's giving them the job's going to look like they're pissed at you.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they just don't, not a lot of people have that internal quality control guide, you know, that moral compass when it comes to quality. It's not in everybody. I've seen it and seen it and seen it.
Yeah. You have to have that standard, and you have to maintain that standard. I used to believe that you didn't have to do that, that you could bring your guys to a certain level just from the relationship end of it. But no, and I don't always think it's intentional, but stuff does go wrong. Stuff does get missed. You know, maybe it's a thing that crew is very tired. They've been working hard, so they miss stuff, and you have to have that person go back and inspect. It's got to be there.
Yeah. How big are the crews generally that go out?
Most crews would be between 3 and 4 people. So predominantly it's a male-driven, industry, but there are some really good ladies out there throwing on shingles too.
Yeah.
Few and far between, because it for whatever reason, it's just not, it doesn't attract the...
well, construction in general just doesn't...
In general, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have seen some dynamite lady roofers too. So,
well, the biggest challenge has got to be not the roofing itself, but humping those bales up.
sure, yeah. A lot of times...
Jesus, that's not light.
No, they're between 60, 70 pounds. And a lot of times the material's delivered to the rooftop, but everything's physical about it. So if you're driven in a way that you like that physical, demanding situations on your body all the time, then it's a great career.
You know, it's actually, if somebody wants to get in the fire department, they should be a roofer for a while first.
Absolutely.
You know, they'll get in shape for it, that's for sure. You know, if you're doing 2-3 roofs a day.
And I don't think it's uncommon for those firefighters, if they're working split shifts and what have you, that or 4 days on, 4 days off, that in their off times they do projects, garages, roofs. You know, like some of those guys do roofing on the side, right? So.
Yeah, well, it would make sense. Mm-hmm. So the market over the last couple of years, you've been at this over 20 years. Have you seen this type of market before, or are we in new territory here?
For me personally, it feels new. It feels like we've been through little downturns before. I don't ever remember this extent of a downturn. And some really tricky things. We're an oil-driven province, and we can't get our oil out of the province. So this is an issue. This is a big issue, and we're going to have to solve that one. I think before we can really start to do good as a province again.
Are you providing financing for roofs yet?
We're almost there. We're in negotiations, so it's something we've held off on. But I think
that's right. That's how we met.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's a road we haven't went down, but we're going to go down because in the state of where we're at, more and more people need that little boost to get that roof on. They don't have the cash available. So
people are going to need that consumer financing for the must-haves.
Absolutely.
I mean, what the hell do you do when your roof's leaking? It's like your furnace.
Right.
There's no negotiating.
No.
The furnace is gone. And right now, if you don't have a financing option for clients, they're going to go to somebody that does.
Right.
Out of necessity, they don't have a choice.
Yeah. No, we're losing. I know we're losing clients because of that. So probably within a month or so, we will be providing that. So coming into 2019, if you need your roof done and you don't have the available cash, we can facilitate that for you. So
well, and it's unfortunate because I mean they're not the cheapest interest rates and stuff for those types for that type of financing, for consumer financing.
Right.
But shit, you got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely. So
and we talked about in the book quite a bit that roofs don't give you a direct return on investment when you're going, but it taints the entire flavor of a house. Like if a roof is all chewed up, I don't care what the rest of the house looks like.
Right.
Your roof is chewed up.
Yeah.
And you see it, and if you don't see it, it comes up in the inspection, and it just taints the feeling of the entire house. Something about it being on the top. I don't know, like top down. Just the impression of the house is that this house is, you know, not maintained.
Right.
It's just not maintained, and it's you really have to do it. You can't put a house on the market with a bad roof. The only exception is if you put it in the deal, it's like, yeah, we know it needs a
Right.
roof.
Right.
So here's a cash back rebate. We you know, if people just don't want the hassle ahead of time.
For sure.
But either way, it has to be addressed and part of the deal, or that house ain't going to sell without losing your ass. In which case, it does make it a good return on investment.
Well, absolutely, and to your point, it's curb appeal. I think, Mark,
As well, yeah.
when you drive up to that house, I mean, what's your first impression? If the roof is looking a little bit past due, then you're thinking, okay, well, this person hasn't kept up the roof. What else haven't they kept
That's
up?
exactly it.
So I really do think when you come up to that house, when you see how is the yard, how is everything, it's going to tie into the whole package.
For sure it does. I talk about the love meter in here. I don't know if you read that section, but when buyers are coming in, they're on the hook already. You know, they've taken the bait. They like the pictures. They like the write up. They are interested in the area. And then when they come up, their love meter is already on 8 out of 10.
Right.
Or if it drains past 7, they're done. And there's the roof is a big part of that, because they look at it and they see the hassle factor. People hate hassle.
Right.
And finding the contractor and booking it is just a big hassle. And sometimes the roof takes days to get done instead of just being in and out in a day like the cable guy.
For sure.
You know, and people don't want to tackle it. So the perceived value of the property drops like a rock.
Well, I mean, on average, the average home only takes a couple days. So,
Yeah.
you know, for any listeners out there that are concerned about the length of time, weather permitting, we always preface with that, but weather permitting, you can usually get that job done in a day or two. So, your average house, I mean, the big estate homes, obviously a little bit more time, but your bungalows, your 1,200 square foot bungalows, so, you know, most of those can be done in a day easy. So,
Right.
day or two. So,
What other businesses are out there are doing well? Like my industry is definitely struggling, and like it never has. Like it hasn't been like this since I don't even know when. And it's creating buyer opportunities, you know, so that's a good thing. There's definitely some good deals to be had out there. My wife and I are shopping ourselves. We're looking at downsizing and
Okay.
flipping our primary residence every year so that we don't get smashed with taxes. But like not everybody's hurting.
No.
Miles Display and Design's doing really well.
Okay. Yeah.
She does Patty Tuttle. She does like retail space design and creates displays and whatnot. And she's busy as could be. And what other businesses you think are riding this out really well?
Any business, I think, that you can buy an item or you know, that won't break the bank. So the smaller price tagged items, you know, you never see a Tim Hortons that's not busy in the recession. Everybody can afford that couple bucks for a cup of coffee, right? So I think
Liquor stores always do well
liquor
in a
stores,
downturn.
absolutely. Those
The pot industry is doing well.
weed is doing very well. So you know, and you know, for better for worse, it's a whole new industry that people will cash in on for sure. So yeah, absolutely, weed's a big seller. So.
Do you have any side projects? A lot of guys I know have like little side businesses or side projects, or is roofing just too all-consuming?
At this point in my life, it takes a lot of time and energy just to keep the company off the ground, so to speak. So I have a lot of hobbies. I'm a man with a ton of hobbies. And you know, I love music. I play drums. I love, you know, that whole scene. I love woodworking. I'm not much good at it, but I love it. So, you know,
What kind of like construction kind of woodworking, or like lathe and
Yeah, more rough benches and stuff.
okay.
I tried my hand at making some log furniture and did not bad. I need some more practice, but I have so many hobbies, but no time for them.
But no
So
time for any of them. Are you still doing junior forest wardens?
absolutely, yeah, we were
So
out there.
that's one you can make time for.
Absolutely, and we talked about this many times. And such a good organization with great people behind it, and to have your kids a part of that is well, we love it. So,
What's the big difference between junior forest wardens and say scouts?
well, I mean, it's to my knowledge because I'm not really versed on the Scouts, and I believe Scouts is trying to change its image. To allow it to be co-ed and this type of thing. So that's one. Junior forest wardens is both for boys and girls, not just for boys. The other thing that I think forest wardens would have over, say, Scouts Canada or that would be, we allow kids as young as 3-4 years old to start with the program, and they're called wanderers, and a lot of times they are wandering everywhere, so the name's appropriate. And you can start with little ones, and then they can go right up through the ranks of junior forest wardens. So
How long have you been doing that? How long have you been with junior forest wardens?
approximately 5 years we've been with the club. So
Yeah.
we're with the Calgary Eagles, but there's multiple clubs to choose from in town. So there's also a Bright Creek, Strathmore, and 2 Airdrie clubs. So
Wish there was one in Okotoks.
well, it's never too late to start one. It's all volunteer based. So
Yeah.
if you find a group of guys or people, like-minded people that want to start a club, you can do that. I don't know what the process is, but Airdrie used to have just the one club, and they've opened up a second one recently. So
I think there's a real appetite for that, where the kids are getting more and more in holding themselves into their bedrooms with their
Right.
electronics.
right,
I certainly see it in our house.
Yeah.
If the kids had their way, they'd just be locked away in their bedrooms all the time, hibernating, and that's not good.
no. Well, the good thing is with the forest wardens, a lot of places we go camping, there is no cell reception, so they can bring their technology, but they can't use it. So that is a positive to the outdoor experiences. Your technology doesn't work a lot of the places we go.
Yeah, definitely my favorite spots. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no cell service, there's nothing. So you get that digital detox.
Yeah.
They talk about it. Sandy McNabb is like that.
Okay.
There's no reception out there. There's no Wi-Fi out there.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a total digital detox, and the kids need that. Well, we need that.
Everybody needs that.
Everybody needs that. I mean, whether you want to or not, we're all addicted to our phones to some degree.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's the first thing, it's the last thing you look at before you go to bed, and the first thing you look at when you wake up. That's not good.
No.
There's a lot of people that they keep the cell phones right out of the room, and they use an alarm clock that you get for $6 at Walmart.
Yeah.
And that is a good way to go.
For sure.
But although the cell phone does make it one hell of a good alarm.
Well, it's become everything. It's our camera. It's one-stop shopping. It's convenient, but it's coming at a cost for sure.
It is coming at a cost. Well, Larry, thanks for being on the show today, brother.
My pleasure, Mark. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad that you did it. And we're going to be getting everybody else on the show eventually here, and because there's 11 of us in total.
Nice.
So 11 people that went into this book to put this together, and it was no small project.
Well, it's a huge undertaking, and I want to thank you again for allowing me to be a part of this project, and for inviting me on this book to be a co-author with you. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And I had a rule when I was reaching out to people to see if they wanted to be involved or not, and I wouldn't reach out to just anybody either. But the idea was, if you don't get it, I'm not going to try to sell it. And so if people were hesitant, or I don't know, I'd just backed right off and
Right.
and move on. Because if you're not excited about the project, then you're not going to be a good part of the project.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, but this is going to be a huge resource, Larry, that we're providing for homeowners. It's what they don't know. You know,
Absolutely.
it's the insider stuff, and it's complete. It's like an encyclopedia.
Mm.
You know, years ago there was no internet, and everybody. Were you an encyclopedia kid? Did you?
We had, yeah, the
you know,
old
grabbing
Britannica.
and looking up the mating habits of snow leopards and like anything you wanted to know was in the Encyclopedia Britannica, and now it's just Google it and it's just
Yeah.
done. So
Yeah.
nobody buys an encyclopedia anymore. But this is the homeowner's encyclopedia, you know. And what we've done, it doesn't exist. Nobody's ever done this, and it's 270 some odd pages of reference material that nobody else has ever collected. So it's going to provide a level playing field for homeowners, so they don't get taken advantage of, whether they're choosing a roofer or choosing a realtor or flooring or financing, whatever it is. With this, they can't get taken advantage of. So it's something special. Like we are empowering homeowners with this book.
For sure. Yeah, no, and I think it'll benefit a lot of people. And, you know, it'll be a great resource to have on the coffee table or, you know, for light reading at night, right? So.
No, absolutely. And it's actually, it's not a bad read. Even reading myself, I think this actually is kind of enjoyable to read, because a lot of the things are story form and example based. It's not just a boring textbook.
Absolutely. No, it's going to be good. I think it'll be a good seller, Mark, and certainly wish you every success with the books.
Us every success.
Yeah.
It's a team effort for sure.
Right.
But for those watching, if you are interested in getting your own copy of the Home Seller's Bible for homeowners, agents, and investors, it is now available on Amazon.com and Amazon.ca. If you are Canadian, I suggest buying it on Amazon.ca. Anywhere else in the world, your local Amazon site. And it will also be available for anybody that sends us an email. We have electronic copies that we'll be sending out. The ebook is not up and running yet, but I do have formatted PDF copies of the book that I am providing at no charge at all. If you prefer a paper copy, it roughly works out to just under $20 Canadian, just over $15 American. Works out to be about the same. And it is a book that will save you thousands and thousands of dollars, or at least has the potential to. You have to actually read it. It's like a hammer. You got to swing it if you want it to work. But that's it, Larry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
For being on the show today.
Appreciate it, Mark, and I can't wait to get this out to the public. So,
Right on, brother.
thanks again.
Okay, thank you.
Bye now.